This week on Inside Boulder News, know before you throw. Compost rules have changed. Be a fun maker with Boulder Parks and Rec, and join us as we celebrate Women's History Month and learn about Boulder's prominent historical figures. Welcome to Inside Boulder News, your source for all things Boulder. I'm Jocelyn Avendaño. Women's History Month is observed every March, and it's a time to honor women who have made an impact in both their past and present. Join us this month as we learn about important women in Boulder's history. This week, we look into Hannah Barker's story.
Hannah Barker is an Irish immigrant born in 1844. She initially made her way to Springfield, Massachusetts, and then later ended up in Davenport, Iowa, where she somehow got credentials to teach. She made her way to Colorado with her lifelong friend Mary Davidson, whose husband William Davidson had a profound effect on the community as well. And she met Ezra Barker, who she ended up marrying. But he died after only 6 years of marriage. He had a lot of real estate holdings, and what was fascinating about Hannah, even though she was well provided for, she did not sit and rest. Instead, she actually acquired more land holdings. We could find her name on more than 1,000 transactions of real estate in Boulder County, including Barker Meadow, where we are today. What's wonderful is that this dam and reservoir still bears the Barker's name. What was amazing about Hannah is how philanthropic she was to the community. She was very involved and donated to Colorado Chautauqua. She was very instrumental in the first reading room here in Boulder, and then actually gave money to help fund the first library, the Carnegie Library here in Boulder. She was actually one of Boulder's earliest and most prolific businesswomen. Without seeking any sort of fanfare or any sort of notice for her gifts to the community, it's what she did behind the scenes. And like so many women, their history's not told because they kind of quietly made these myriad differences in the communities they live. For example, when World War I started, she was involved with the starting of the Boulder Day Nursery and actually donated a parcel of land right adjacent to it that is Barker Park in the heart of downtown Boulder. Hannah, in her own right, made such a difference in this community, primarily in things like reading, the Literary Society, the Fortnightly Club, contributions she made to the University of Colorado. And just standing on her own as a businesswoman is sort of remarkable. And I think because Ezra and Hannah never had their own children, there wasn't a generation to continue that story and share her legacy.
This week, Boulder's fire rescue team conducted wildland trainings.
All of our firefighters are put through a baseline set of wildland fire training that they have to get a red card that allows them to fight wildland fires. And then annually, we put them through refresher training, which involves a physical component, a refresher on some of our safety equipment, and then we create some content and make a bit of practice training, make sure that they're current and that they're ready to fight fire as the season approaches.
This training is performed annually for the entire fire department and includes a baseline fitness test and a practice shelter setup.
Everybody has to do what's called the pack test. And so they'll put on a weight vest and they have to walk 3 miles on flat ground in under 45 minutes. Per policy, every firefighter has to carry one of these when they go out onto the fire line. It's a safety equipment so that if somebody were to find themselves in a place where they're overrun by fire, they could get into the shelter and potentially survive fire being all around them. And so as part of this training, we also make sure that we refresh everybody and make sure that they're comfortable getting into these shelters.
Trainings like this help the entire Boulder Fire Department stay prepared in case of emergency situations.
The way fire response goes for wildland, we tend to require more firefighters for any emerging large event. And so making sure that all our firefighters are trained and ready to respond really shortens that response time and allows us to have a quicker initial attack, and our intent is really to keep small fires small.
Compost food scraps, plants, and yard trimmings. That's it when it comes to the region's new compost guidance. We spoke to Senior Sustainability Manager Jamie Harkins to start things out. The region's only large-scale commercial compost manufacturer, A1 Organics, is simplifying the materials they accept from all communities along the Front Range. These changes are in response to contamination challenges across the region. If we all do our part, A1 can continue to create clean compost that can be used to revive soils and grow nutritious local food. If it was on your plate or grew in your yard, it goes in your compost bin. This includes all food scraps, including meat, bones, dairy, coffee grounds, and eggshells, and plant and yard trimmings such as leaves, twigs, flowers, grass, and other yard trimmings.
What that means is that paper products, compostable foodware are the main items that no longer will be acceptable in the compost stream. So the city has a lot of circular economy goals, and we really see this as an opportunity to really shift away from disposable culture. We are really looking at the silver lining of this problem and hoping that we can really accelerate our path to a reusable circular economy here in Boulder.
To learn more about the new composting guidelines, please visit the city's newsroom. The city's Parks and Recreation Department is looking for individuals to join their team this summer. From lifeguards to camp counselors to maintaining the city's beautiful parks to being a gymnastics instructor, BPR has a job for anyone. Boulder Parks and Rec is looking for people who care as much about helping the community as the city does. Over 300 positions are available, which include the Flatirons Golf Course, summer camps, youth services, and more. Applicants need to be 15 and older for these seasonal and hourly positions. Interested in applying? Visit bprjobs.org. Thank you so much for joining us on this week's edition of Inside Boulder News. Connect on Facebook and Twitter. You can also sign up to receive video updates right in your inbox. Just go to boulderchannelite.com and click on subscribe. And be sure to check out the city's online newsroom for the latest city news. We'll see you next time.